Thank you very much. Thank you to Avi for all those kind words. Not used to that. And thank you to all of you for coming here. I want to start by endorsing very forcefully what Avi said about Lenin. You know, I have friends in many parts of the world, and whenever I come to Santa Fe, and this is the third time I've come to speak in this lovely theater, people say, "Where are you going next week?" And I said, "Santa Fe." "Santa Fe? Why?" I said, "Because the Lenin Foundation is there, and they organize these events to spread real diverse views all over the country as much as they can, and it's a very rare foundation that we have, that never censors, that essentially allows people to say what they say, and which is becoming increasingly rare, even in the world of foundations. Some foundations that should know better are caving in to the pressures of capitalist society and its needs. So I'm very, very happy and privileged to be here, and thank you very much to the Lenin Foundation for inviting me. Now, I'd like to start by asking, what is the world today, and what is the stage through which this world is passing? Had I come here in 2005, my answers would have been a bit different. But since the crash of the Wall Street system in 2008, the world has begun to change. And the crash of that system, of course, was not simply confined to the United States or to Europe, but its effects were felt in distant parts of the world. And I think without that crash, and without the consequences being felt in Tunisia, and the young people and the unemployed and the workers who came out and marched on the streets and got rid of their despot, that probably wouldn't have happened. And here you have an example of a country in which mass protests, leave alone political revolutions, were not known. And it took the whole world by surprise. It took the Arab world by surprise, because the Tunisians are seen as lotus eaters, very relaxed, lazy, carefree people who enjoy their pleasures, all of them. And when the Tunisians toppled their despot, the Egyptians woke up and said, "The Tunisians can do it and we can't?" And slowly you saw a chain of uprisings throughout the Arab world, very different in character, with different aims, with different backgrounds, shaking that world, and they're still going on. So we have seen the images from Tunisia, from Egypt, from the Yemen, from Bahrain, spreading all over the world.
All right, let's go around the world in 30 minutes. You ready?
Ready.
This is, as you've been talking about for the last 45, this is a unique moment of social mobilizations around the world, almost simultaneously. There have been previous moments like this in history, but there's something different about this one. At the same time, each of these mobilizations has its own specificity. We can't treat them generically. So I think it's worth exploring some of the things that are unique and some of the things that are common. So let me start with the big question, the unanswerable one, just for you. You know, I don't think anyone saw the French Revolution coming the year before necessarily, or 68. In the summer of 67, in the summer of love, people said, next year we'll have cop cars burning in the streets. And then we look back, and history does its job of trying to evaluate the social and economic forces that created these moments. But when they're happening now, like right now, like in this city, now, we're curious to know why now. The social conditions in the United States, for instance, have existed for a long time. The middle class has been stagnant or plunging for 30 years, and the inequality has been spiraling that whole time. Do you have any theories on why these moments are emerging right now?
Well, I think in the Arab world it's very clear that the combination of the new economic post-2008 crisis and the realization that they were being ruled by despots and elites who lived in a bubble world where there were no problems at all. No shortage of money, no shortage of housing, making money obscenely while their people were suffering. I think that combination did the trick. It really did. I mean, in Tunisia, the stallholder who burnt himself to death and triggered the uprising, when I talked to Tunisian friends, they said, yeah, but it's a very specific thing that it happened now because 2 years ago people burned themselves and it didn't trigger an uprising. Right. And when I questioned further, they said the huge mass unemployment, coupled with everything people were talking about the corruptions of the elite, just triggered it off. And
that he was fleeced by the police repeatedly to pay graft for his stall. And
yeah, the stallholder was told he couldn't put up a stall. And when he said why, the woman police officer, because they have lots of them in Tunisia, said to him, you know, made it clear that she wanted money. And he said, I don't have any money. And she then destroyed his stall. And he then, out of desperation, just set himself on fire. And this story spread throughout the town and gradually throughout the country. That town went up first, and then the movement began to spread. And, you know, these events, you can never predict what will trigger them off. But whenever they are triggered, it's because other social and economic and political conditions have reached that level. I mean, it's the same in every revolution. You don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but that's how it happens. And the effect of the dictator fleeing the country within weeks, that was dramatic, because the French President Sarkozy and his defense minister sent a special message to the Tunisian despot, who was a close friend of theirs, saying, don't go, we're prepared to send French paratroopers to keep you in power. We are experts at doing this.
After all, your family.
Yeah. But by that time, he was already on a plane to Saudi Arabia, where you have ready access to bank accounts.